Are you a gymnast or parent who feels like you or your child is not making any progress in the sport? Don't worry, I get it. I've been there, I've bought the t-shirt, I get it. I know what it feels. I know what it feels like to constantly feel like you're not making progress or you're not moving forwards, you're not stepping forwards for a long sustained period of time. Welcome back to the channel. For anyone new around here, I'm Joe, a Team GB gymnast, and I help gymnasts improve their performance outside of the gym. Something that's been brought to my attention recently is this need to feel constant improvement or development, especially as I'm a coach and I'm someone who's surrounded by it, and I've seen both aspects of this from a gymnast to a coach. It's so easy to get stuck in this next skill, bigger, better skill, next move. Okay, I've done this skill, what's next? And comparing yourself to other gymnasts around or your other parents' children. And today we're going to find out if there's actually more than meets the eye when it comes to progress for gymnasts, and what progress should you be looking for. So besides increasing skill value, here's 4 ways you should be monitoring your progress as a gymnast or parent. Point 1, improved confidence and technical performance of the skill. Now, you may be so caught up in trying to add an extra 0.1 onto your skill or onto your trampet or your tumble or high bars or whatever discipline you do that you have completely missed the improvement you have made in confidence, or your child has made in confidence or technical ability when performing the skill. Well executed, safely performed, confidently performed skills will always be the better option when it comes to scoring better at a competition, or when it comes to performing them in the gym, getting ready for a competition. The improvements your gymnast or yourself may have made from even performing a skill that once you feared to performing it fearlessly is massive. And if you are constantly hung up on just the next skill, the next step, or trying to get a new skill to the hard landing for your competition, you're going to miss that. Just because you're not performing a skill that another member of your team or another member in your training group is performing, does that mean you're not making progress? Not for me. Definitely not. Definitely would not be measuring yourself alongside other people. Now, there's a fine line. Now, I think when it comes to comparing yourself to other people, you've got to be super careful. You should be aspiring to be like people who in your industry are industry leaders or mentors or phenomenons in your industry. However, you shouldn't be hinging all of your success on comparing what you can do in accordance to them, because if I did that when I was a kid, I'd be useless. I'd be nowhere near. The gymnastics code of points wants confidently performed, safe, well executed, technically shown gymnastic skills. They don't want unconfident, extra pushing difficulty across the board. Point 2, strength and conditioning gains. Oh, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Another way to see progress and to measure your progress, which isn't increased skill difficulty: strength gains, conditioning gains, performance gains. Massive. Have your lifts gone up? Have you increased the conditioning intensity? Can you do more reps of an exercise? Do you have shown muscular endurance from previous tests you've done? Whatever it is that increased skill difficulty? No. Is it progress? Yes. It's crazy. We can get so caught up, and I do this myself, in terms of, okay, skill acquisition of a gymnastics skill can take months, in cases years. You are always building for the next year, the year after that, putting in the right technical cues to make sure you can perform that skill. And often is the case, we need gymnasts, or us as gymnasts ourselves need to mature to be able to almost unlock the ability to do said skill. And there's lots of other factors that determine that. Now, what you can do is, okay, this is an area, lower extremity, power, strength, whatever it is, I can work on this now. Now, I can reach my potential for this right now. And in tow, that may mean, look, further down the line, I can perform this bigger skill, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. So if you want to improve your skill difficulty, you have to start from the ground up. And guess what? If you want to improve your skill difficulty, you're going to have to be able to produce more force, more power, and be stronger. So you've got to account for your conditioning and your strength training. And what are you doing? If you want a strength and conditioning program, you can do it at home or alongside your training in the gym. And our full accelerator program, I will leave a link below for you to check that out. And we even offer a money back guarantee, because we're confident you're going to sign up and you're going to know, okay, wow, like what you get, the accountability you get, the feedback, the tracking, the course you get is awesome. But anyway, on with the video. It's good to go back and think, okay, what does my success look like? And these points are all derived around you kind of having a reframe of what success is, because there's always going to be that gymnast in the group or your friend gymnasts out there who can rock into the gym, do very little, and be able to perform a big skill or whatever, like naturally from talent, genetic ability, all of these things and understanding. And you cannot compare yourself in that way. You've got to deal with what you've got, make the most of that. And I tell people all the time, like, I was so behind other people in my younger stages as a gymnast. And the first time I reached the national team, I was 17 and I'm 23 now. So it's only 7 years ago. And that's crazy. And I coach children, gymnasts, work with them around the country who are 10 times better than I was at their age. But because their definition of what success is so arranged around what other people are doing, what other gymnasts are doing, what they're competing, what's happening, their enjoyment just goes. And that's the thing. You need to be enjoying what you're doing and being able to see what progress you may be making in other areas is massive. That's what's going to keep you in it when you go through a phase of stagnation or plateau in, I don't know why I went downwards with plateau in gymnastics or performance, because your coaches know that. Your parents may think it's a linear progress, but you need to understand that there's going to be months where you're trying to get something technically right, and it's the coach's job to explore how you can do that, but you just have to kind of put the miles in, and it's hard. It is like sometimes headbutting wall again and again and again, and then being told just to slightly, headbutt the corner of the wall instead, and then the corner of the wall is what gets it through to your head. It's that. Disclaimer, don't start running around headbutting walls, that's not good. Our next form of progress, which is an increased skill difficulty, is consistency of skills. Massive. Now, another thing, if you can perform a big skill once, but not 5 times, when it comes to comp day, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. Without realizing, you may have taken a skill that you could perform 1 time out of 10 successfully to 10 out of 10 confidently, successfully, consistently, all the time. But because you're so hung up on, I need to be able to do this twist now, I need to be able to do this, you've not realised. And you have to look back and go, okay, just how much progress have I made in the other areas? And this is how we need to be supportive and help gymnasts to know that, look, you were really scared of doing your flick double twist, for example, 6 months ago. Now, you can do it with your eyes closed. Well, not your eyes closed. Don't be round-offing with your eyes closed. I've done that, been there, right? But you can do it 10 times out of 10 confidently. That is progress. If that's not progress, I don't know what is. I see, and I've maybe even been in that position myself where maybe I didn't feel fully confident, but I knew that when it came to the environment, because I like to step up to the environment. I know how to harness myself and how to control that now, that I'd be okay to do the skill. But you're so much better, and it gives you decreased anxiety going into a situation where you know that you trust your body because you've done the reps, you've done the work. You're just going out there to show it. And if you've done the reps, you've done the work, and something goes wrong in the competition, afterwards you sit back, you go, I did the reps, I did the work, I made a mistake in competition, on to the next. That's what happens. But if you haven't done the reps, done the work, it's like you've opened a loop, and you're not going to be able to close it because you're going to be thinking, well, I could have worked a little bit harder there. Again, I'm not saying I was perfect and this is what I did. I'm just trying to share what I know now with people a few steps maybe behind me and where I've gone. And again, lots of people will still say, I'm a terrible gymnast. But I got to where I am today by, without realising, harnessing a few of these traits along the way. And the biggest thing I worry is that people are missing the actual point in their gymnastics journey, and they're so hung up on what's next. They can't see the progress in front of them. They can't see the progress they've made already. And it's because we're on this hedonic treadmill of just constant improvement and wanting the next thing. But honestly, the journey is the best thing, always. And if you're always focused on the next thing, you're not present in the moment. And you've got to enjoy the moment. Fourth and final point of the video, mental and emotional growth. Now, something that's really, really hard to measure is your mental state, your mental health, your emotional maturity and growth. And I was terrible at doing this. And if somebody told me, oh no, I want you to try and measure your emotional growth, or how much do you feel like you've emotionally grown over the last few years, when I was 10 or 15, I'd be like, what? But since using a journal myself, and since working on a gymnastics focused journal, I have seen firsthand just how useful it can be to have tools like that in play, where at the end of the week you sit down and you go, what went well this week? I really enjoyed training. What didn't go well this week? I felt I didn't have enough energy because I missed my lunch, or whatever it is. But having that, I mean, when we first sat down with our gymnasts that use our Gymnastic Fantastic journal now, and again, this isn't even a plug, because if you don't want to buy the journal, do it yourself. Just take a paper, pen, notes, whatever, get your gymnast to write down what went well, what didn't go well. Obviously you're going to miss the fun facts and the activities and all of that, but anyway, link below, I'll whack the link down there and you can get yourself one. But if you've got that tool written down, that 5 months ago you couldn't list anything negative about your session, and then 5 months down the line you've developed that ability to think and go, I know what my win is this week, I know what I need to work on next week, I know what did I do in training that challenged me, what was it that didn't challenge me, how did I rate myself in training, what was my emotional state like this week in training. And all of these things are so important in the world that we're in today for kids, children gymnasts to understand their emotions. And I am the worst person for understanding my emotions, and it's taken years for me to finally come to terms with why I am the way I am from my childhood and the things that happened. But now I understand. You've got to spread it on. So bit of a tangent there, but in terms of how much you can mentally or emotionally grow, you're not going to realize this if you are constantly thinking about the next skill or thing or comp. And you may have improved your resilience to a point where you didn't want to walk into the gym because you were so nervous about going on tumble, doing your floor routine, doing the trampoline skill, whatever it was. And you're in the moment. 5 months down the line, you've been accounting for your thoughts a little bit more, and now even if you know you're on tumble this evening and you don't really like it, you get on, you do the work, and you've missed all of that. But because you're so focused on the next thing or skill, that's your only measure of success. And when it comes to being a successful gymnast, there's so much more to think about than skill difficulty. Yes, you're not going to be an Olympian if you can't do the skill levels required to an extent. But I would argue that you're also not going to be an Olympian. Not that I'm an Olympian. I mean, I got a lot of stick on the social media for my hang tough performance the other night, but I don't do rings. I don't hang. Mate, come on, give me a break. I do what? Well, some people wouldn't say I tumble, but do a bit of tumbling, a bit of trompette, a bit of floor, a bit of dance, you know what I mean? But you're going to miss all of that progress, and it's massive. Resilience, determination, ability to not give up. These things are what going to actually take you to the next level and take you to withstand the trials and tribulations that you're going to experience as a gymnast inevitably throughout your years, and it's your journey. Yeah, these are the things you're going to look back on, and if you can apply them and you can realize what you've got, that is going to take you into later life flying. It's not just about skill progression, it is about remaining and enjoying your time in the sport, and I truly believe that is what has given me the results, the enjoyable, positive experience I have had in my life from gymnastics. If you want more tips like these, I'm going to leave a link down below where you can sign up to receive my top 30 best tips as a Team GB gymnast, high-level performance coach, and somebody who has had a lot of experience in the field of gymnastics in my discipline. From mental tips, well-being, strength and conditioning, to funny stories and experiences, you can access them down below for free. And if you want to see how I would deal with a mental block or mental struggles in gymnastics, I'm going to put the video, well, YouTube is clever, it's going to put the video right here, so go and watch that one in a bit.